David, what do you think's behind this? Is this macro or micro?
A little bit of both. There's micro, there's macro, there's strategy, and there's expectations. We had lowered numbers a week ago. We looked at some correlated factors and thought their business might be under pressure. Expectations changed a lot over the last week as a result of folks having these conversations. The results came in. There was still some incremental pressure, but you also see part of what's important, which is people looking at the long game that Tiffany is trying to play. So I think it's a little bit of everything.
I mean, the stock, it had been going down pretty much all of last year. Is it cheap? Is that why people are still liking it and buying it off of this seemingly bad news?
So it is cheap, and that's a big part of it, valuation. This is also a weak dollar stock, if you think about it. So U.S. headquartered global luxury brands, they really like a weak dollar environment. I don't mean the business, but the stock. That's part of it. This is also, like many consumer discretionary names, certainly the global ones, a company that likes to get past trade tensions. It needs global trade, it needs tourism, and it needs consumers to feel good. A lot of those questions have been circling for the last 3-4 months, and some of that relief in the market today, on a day that Tiffany, frankly, had to get some of this bad news out of the way, I think that sort of cleared the deck this morning.
I mean, it's a weak dollar stock, also a weak silver stock. I mean, it seems like you have to know a lot about what's happening in different parts of the world to trade this beyond just kind of foot traffic and, what employment is in the U.S. It is at the lower end of its range valuation-wise in the last, 5 or 8 years. Do you think that there's even further bad news priced in, or where do you think it can get to from here?
So you just said it. It's about, you said the trade, and the trade is how does currency play out in tourism and macro. But the long term is about valuation and the brand. And so I think what's gone on at Tiffany the last several years with the new management team, they've really replatformed decision making, how they're talking to customers, the newness the customer sees. That new level of energy, but playing it in a very long-term way is really what the brand power is about long term. Of course, it's a 175-year-old brand as well. So the long term is about valuation and the positioning and the power of the brand. And I think you're right. The trading is getting around currency or metal pricing or whatever. And that was what we were trying to do a week ago with our numbers. I think from here, absolutely, we think valuation's supportive. Our rating is overweight. We think that getting past bad news has always been important to Tiffany. It's sort of a very long-term focused company.
And a very different market, Mike, that would embrace news like this and bid up the stock 5%, even though, as you guys have been saying, it's
6 weeks ago, it might not have been the same story. Right.